Hello everyone, how's it going? In this video, I'm going to talk about the spacing that should be necessary in order to have a map that looks pretty detailed. So we can see in red starting area here that when I'm zoomed all the way in, there's quite a bit of space to cover up here, and if I just start throwing down some random objects to get this going, like a sawmill, ore pit, how about a sulfur pit over here, and then how about I get a creature generator going. I'll do, how about a level 3 and a level 6. Let's see here. And then how about we do some stat boosting. There we go. Good enough. I'll draw some roads in. And then how about, I'm feeling pretty good today, so I will give them roads to all the good stuff. Okay, we'll just do some erasing here. Okay, so this is red's kind of starting area, and just to kind of quickly throw some stuff in, how about I just start brushing it like this. And we'll talk about the brush tool. Oh, don't want that. Don't do that. I'll start talking about the brush tool in a later video, but for now I'm just throwing down some terrain just to close it off enough. Okay, so when we turn on our grid and we turn on our passability, we can see that for the most part I'm giving myself 2 tiles of movement room. 2 tiles I feel is probably either the biggest or kind of a middle ground, just depends on how open you want it to feel. Something like this where you just have nothing even close to it, it's going to feel pretty very wide open, and if an enemy hero is running around in this area, it can get kind of annoying to chase him down. So as far as passability, I like to have either 1 or 2 open spaces pretty much everywhere. So what typically that means is that I would start brushing some of this stuff off in here, and then I would probably go in here and just start deleting stuff off so I can maybe build in some areas in here that maybe I got a treasure chest guarded by a level 1 or something like that. So that's my preference. I like to have 1 or 2 open spaces. This again is a little too wide open. I would probably refine it a little bit further, but it looks pretty closed in. You have your options for how to build this up. If we look at some of the other maps, for example, this is Pandora's box. It's absolutely loaded up with resources, but if you look at your general pathing, you can see that I really only have, hold on, let's go somewhere where you can actually see the box. But you can see that in general I'm only getting 1 or 2 spaces of walking room in here. Sometimes I get a little bit more, sometimes I'm gonna have more than just the standard 1 or 2. But for the most part, your running room is pretty restricted. So instead of wide open spaces, From my experience of making maps, I've found that if you just kind of have a whole bunch of branching off segments of 1 or 2 width, running spaces, um, you can usually get a better feel, a more realistic feel, and in my opinion, it looks more like a standard map. Reclamation, kind of the same thing here. You got 1 or 2 for your width. You always need at least 1, obviously, but you can see that 1 or 2 wide. It can get a little bit wider if you need it to, but I'm struggling to find something that's more than like 5 or 6 wide. So you definitely want to keep stuff contained, lots of tight spaces, lots of different paths. You're really building a maze, to be honest, and it's hard to do that if you have a whole lot of wide open spaces. And then one last look, we'll take a look at Back for Revenge. So once again, 1 or 2 wide paths. You can see they even only give you the diagonals right here. That is passable. So 1 or 2 wide. So when you watch me make maps, or if you play a map that I've built, you'll notice that I do a lot of 1 or 2 wide just everywhere. If you have, going back to our main map here, if you have something like this where you have a monster guarding the entrance, I found that 2 wide makes it kind of messy, so I will typically come in here and just make sure it's 1 wide going through here. Otherwise, there's just really odd empty space behind the monster, and it looks like you off-centered it on purpose. It's just kind of a weird appearance that the game makes. So just to recap, 1 wide, 2 wide. You typically don't want to go much wider, and you can, but it just looks like you have an incomplete map on your hands. So that concludes the spacing video. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, or subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.